Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Excellent. Welcome to the show. How you doing, Alan Lee?
How are you doing, Keith Reza? I'm really good. It's a beautiful day here in the Valley at LA Radio. What more could you want?
Yeah, definitely. So this is our sixth season, all right?
Six already?
Today's the sixth
Yeah.
season, and we have a great guest. He's stuck in traffic, so I figured we'd start and do the opening remarks now. You know what I mean? So just get it over with.
That sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. First of all, if you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes at Reza Riffs. Yeah. And, we need the reviews and the feedback, and, we really enjoy that. So our guest today, you've seen him on the television show Sullican Valley, Deadpool, and you have heard him as the star of the hit movie, The Emoji Movie. You can also see him perform stand-up comedy at Levity Live in Oxnard this weekend. Tickets can be bought at levity.oxnard.com. The great and the hysterical TJ Miller will be here.
All right, yeah, man.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Excuse me.
I loved him in Deadpool because I'm a huge Deadpool fan.
You are indeed, and I'm not quite. Although I do have the action figure, and I gave you one, a small one
for Christmas. Yeah,
no,
you gave me an action figure of Deadpool for Christmas.
You still have it?
Yeah, I still have it.
That's nice.
Yeah,
because I knew you. See, Deadpool grew on me.
Yeah.
And with 2, I love the character now.
Of Deadpool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was awesome. TJ played Weasel. Yeah, which is his best friend.
Let me ask you something. When you say best friend, I was going to ask TJ that question. Would you say he was a sidekick?
In the comic books, or
no, in this movie Weasel?
I think yeah, but I think that they kind of like stirred it more away to just a Deadpool story. You know what I mean? But if you TJ. Like, his performances, like, it was really... Because Ryan Reynolds was a perfect Deadpool, but TJ was, like, way funnier than Ryan Reynolds in all the scenes they had together. Which was, like, really, refreshing.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, that's good to have a comic reactor who, likes to improvise lines and have someone kind of beat him. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Would you say what you just said if Brian Reynolds was sitting here? Because you know how I feel about Brian Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds?
Brian.
No, it's Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah. I'm confused with the director, Brian.
But when TJ gets here, call him Brian.
Yeah. Well, the director...
That'd be funny.
So would you have said this in front of Ryan Williams?
Oh, yeah. Wait, Williams? Reynolds.
You know what?
Oh, I'm so confused.
I'm so confused now. Yeah. Would you have said this?
You're practicing the bit for when TJ gets in.
Yeah,
and
see,
that's
there you go. See, there you go. I was rehearsing that.
Yeah, I probably would have. Yeah, because that's just how I am. Like, I just have no filter, and I just
that's right.
But
like right now.
Yeah,
with the Williams and all that, knowing that I'm going through all this stress.
You're going through stress? Wait, I feel like you're picking on me right now.
No, I said I'm going through some stress. I'm not picking on you.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for empathy and compassion.
I can't. I have Asperger's.
That's right. I keep forgetting sometimes.
You remember that one time we were playing basketball and you broke your ankle? And you're like, oh, I broke my ankle. And I was like, okay, well, let's get McDonald's.
That's true. But I remember the time when I took that tumble downtown in that ghost at that hotel that's haunted.
Oh, what was that?
The
that was
Alexander Hotel. You were doing a show there,
right?
With our friend there from the.
That was a long fall too.
I wish we should photograph the stairs.
Yeah,
remember that?
I do.
Wow,
that was that. I remember that scared the crap out of me because, my mom, since she had a stroke a few years ago, she falls down the stairs a lot, and it always scares me because like that's just scary, you know what I mean? And I remember when that happened to you, like those flashbacks of when my mom fell. I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, you could have been seriously hurt. I think you actually hurt your arm, like pretty bad, didn't you?
You know what? Believe it or not, now in the last week, I can do this now. It took that long.
You could rotate it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
nice.
swear. I was in shock. I went, wow, I'm healed. I'm healed.
You know, they have these new computers
Yeah.
here, so I don't know how to run it.
Oh,
I was
that's
gonna
right.
say-
I didn't even look.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's the same program, but I was going to say, like, maybe I could call him and just have him do, half phone interview, but I don't know how to
What?
use the Skype.
Is he in is he in his car?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll give him a text, and he said he's on his way, so.
Oh, well.
But, the traffic in the valley and all that stuff,
We had an easy one coming here from.
That's because we leave at, what time did we leave today? We left at 9. Or at least I left at 9 to pick you up.
Yeah, but we left at 10 o'clock.
Because I live in Huntington Beach.
Mhm.
And traffic, what's weird is traffic is never that bad coming here. It's always that bad going back home.
Mm-hmm.
I always found that very fascinating. But yet, you live in Los Angeles, so that kind of like flips it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like traffic to you is bad everywhere
That's true.
because you live in
I
Los
live
Angeles,
right in the middle of it.
in L.A., in Inglewood,
In Inglewood.
where the hood.
They call it Inglehood sometimes.
Do they? They call it Inglewood?
Yeah. In fact, when I was on the bus, my car had all these problems. The car was in the garage. A gang member on the bus, coming back, from Hollywood, I took
Right.
him all the way down La Brea. He sat next to me and says, "You want to know something? We think you are the bomb."
He said that to
That's
you?
right.
And he was a gang member?
Yeah, he says, we see you walking around, and he told me, he says, don't ever worry about getting jumped. Or
Oh,
anything."
so he was like showing you his respect.
Yeah,
Like he's got your back.
yeah.
Oh.
But the conversation started at the bus stop. I left that out. We were talking. He had problems with his girlfriend. And I said, "Oh, that's bad," and all this. And so he kind of like, yeah, you're cool. We see you and all that. Is that an interesting? It's almost like a beginning of a movie.
No, it's very interesting. Actually, it's ironic that you said that because my dad, he does janitorial services where he cleans buildings and stuff. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
When he first started the company like 30 years ago, he did buildings in L.A. and it was like for the Cribs or something. Like it was underground crib thing. And the Cribs liked him so much, and they said the exact same thing. They said, "Hey, if you ever need to, like, us to kidnap your child or
Sure.
throw him in the gutter or something, you call us." Luckily, my dad never took him up on that offer.
And because you're the child.
Exactly. It's my sophisticated sense of humor.
I think it's good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give TJ a text to see his whereabouts because I like the iPhone. Do you like the iPhone?
I like it. And but I tell you something, I like that I like the Chrome phone though.
The Chrome.
The Google phone rather.
Uh-huh.
I like the Google phone.
Oh, like the Android?
Yeah, I love the Android.
Oh. Why?
Well, it's the way it works, and it's like I think the wall, everything. It seems safer to me.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I like them all.
Oh, you like the phones.
Yeah, I love phones.
I do you remember the BlackBerry?
Yes, I do.
That was a great phone. That was probably the phone that invented texting, if you think about
With
it.
all the tiny little keys on it, right?
Yeah. So that would be cool, you
And
know.
you're very fast texting. I noticed that. First one that when you're in the car, man, your fingers are flying over that board.
Yeah, I'm pretty fast, but people who hold on, sorry, I'm texting. I can't do two things at once.
You're pretty fast right now. You're really moving.
Yeah, but I can't do. I think that's probably like also with my ADD. Like I can't focus on two.
Mm-hmm.
What was your question?
I said that you do that so well, and it was just multitasking.
Oh yeah. So like, I think that's just something that like you grow up used to, like
Yeah.
with fast texting
Sure.
and all that stuff. Because when I was a kid, they had this thing called a pager.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember like you weren't cool unless you had a pager.
There were little.
Yeah, and you couldn't do anything. And what a pager was is you go find a phone, and you call a pager, and it doesn't ring or anything. It just tells you someone tried to call you.
Yeah.
So call them back.
Was that funny?
It was,
Back in the day.
Yeah, but like it was weird because like it was the best invention in the world. Like everyone loved it. Like, ooh, I'm getting a page, and then like it's kind of stupid. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's kind of like if you think about the first form of text messaging in a way.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like missed calling.
Well, nobody could believe that they could be found like walking around.
Right.
That's what blew everybody's mind. They couldn't believe, oh God, someone's calling me, and they know that I'm around somewhere,
Yeah.
And so was it?
Did you have a pager?
No,
No, I
didn't have a
did.
pager.
I had a red one.
No, I didn't have a pager.
And I got one for Christmas. And I think part of the reason why I got it was because, we just got.
A page.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a page. A page.
They just said they're on their way upstairs. So perfect. So TJ's going to be
We were
running.
talking about that, and that was kind of like.
And I just got a page.
Yeah, in 2018.
Yeah.
That's like Back to the Future.
Yeah. So he's going to run in and like then,
I think he's going to run.
Yeah, he's going to run in.
Big guy.
Big guy?
6'11".
6'11"? Were you going to say he was 6'11"?
No.
He's maybe
6'1".
6'1".
I added a 1
Yeah.
accidentally in my mind.
6'1's not really that tall though.
It's over 6 foot. What's
Yeah.
tall? Oh, you were a basketball fan. I forget. So
Yeah,
tall.
a lot
You're
of basketball players, like the guards, are like
Yeah.
6 feet to 6'6". You know.
No, for professional basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't think 6 feet is tall because like I grew up watching basketball. So you know what I mean? Like I figured those guys were tall.
Yeah. See, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I do watch it occasionally.
Yeah. I once saw Travis Knight at a Laker game.
Yeah.
He used to play for the Lakers.
Sure.
And he was a white guy, and he was like
Yeah.
so tall. He was terrible.
Yeah.
Like really bad at basketball.
Really?
Yeah, and they think that
interesting.
there's this theory that they say like the taller you are, the better at basketball you'll be.
I never heard that.
Yeah, but now it's like reversed because now basketball is like a point guard game. Like the smaller guys are
Moving
like huge
quick.
scorers now.
Sure.
So it's like the guy who and there's
Sure.
T.J. Miller.
And he brought his friend.
Yeah, come on in, buddy.
Is that his bodyguard?
I don't
This
know.
guy-
Hey, T.J., how are you, pal?
TJ, we were just talking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we were talking.
Hi, TJ's
about
bodyguard.
how-
Hi.
Hello, I'm Alan Lee, the unknown comic.
How are you, T.J.?
Alan Lee, how are you?
We-
And we were talking. This is the unknown. We were joking about my.
Was it?
Because there was an unknown comic.
No,
on the
not
Gong
that
Show.
one. See, I'm getting
But
myself.
Yeah.
we don't. No, we
I'm
don't.
almost stealing material as
We
I speak to
don't-
the man.
We don't. Right, you're already in a. So yeah, we don't know who that comic is. So
Yeah,
you could-
what the-
doesn't- and, yeah,
Bag?
bag. And
Wow.
He's never going to come and say no, it was me. So I
That's
think you're
true.
safe.
His name was
Thank you.
Murray,
I
wasn't
feel-
it?
You're safe.
I feel more
all I
secure
ever
as
knew
we
was
speak.
The bag over. Yeah. So how are you, TJ?
How are
Thanks
ya?
so much
It's
for
really
doing
funny.
it.
Thank you. I'm glad this worked out. And we
Yeah.
got
I'm
it
glad it worked
going.
out for you.
Oxnard. This weekend.
We plugged it. It's
Beautiful.
going to be fun.
We just plugged.
Have you ever
Thank
done?
you. Yeah, because the club didn't do a very good job. So I'm glad. No, I've never done Oxnard. I didn't even know that it was a place.
Until they asked you to do
Yeah.
it.
In fact, I told some friends that I was going to do Oxnard, California, and one of my buddies was like, "Yeah, seriously though, where are you playing?" Because he thought I made up the name.
Yeah.
And I think it's just something that people from the Valley know.
Yeah.
But if you're not from the Valley, you're from Los Angeles proper, then
Mm-hmm.
nobody in Hollywood or anything is like, oh yeah, Oxnard. We
Yeah.
go there all the time.
They say
'Cause it's
Ventura.
past Sherman
Yeah.
Oaks. Yeah,
Yeah, they say Ventura,
Yeah.
don't they?
I
Yeah.
think so. He's Big Bear. Big Abe is Big Bear.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Big Bear.
Big Abe, and he
Oh,
lives
Big
in,
Abe,
He
Big
lives
Abe.
in Big Bear.
Yeah.
Ah, Big.
He'll
Abe
only
and Big-
live places or do things that have the word "big" in them.
Oh, well, I like
That's
that.
his brand.
I like that.
That's very funny.
Yeah, so he's we've worked together since Chelsea Lately,
Yeah.
and it was we met, and I couldn't get in to a club. I was like across the street, and I had some time before going up to the Ha Ha Cafe.
Oh, that's a great club.
Yeah, which is up here. It's a really funny one. It was that one, and I have a couple like this in New York that was really hard a lot of the time, and part of it was I was the only not the only white comedian, but it was a very urban room.
Right.
And so it wouldn't always be super easy for me, but I played urban clubs in Chicago coming up. So it was really, fun to go in there and have an audience who's like, all right, this motherfucker, let's see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would go well because I have experience there and my material is kind of Universal, and so I wanted to sort of chill and have a drink, and so I went over and he ID'd me, and I said, I don't have an ID, but I'm from this movie and this movie, and he looked at me, he's like, oh yeah. So he let me in, and then as you can see, we'll tell the viewers, he is gigantic.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't.
He could kill a bear with his hands, which is what he does as a hobby. And Big Bear. I'm just kidding.
Bear, he'd kill a big
But he also because I can't read people because I have autism, but I get. But
You're on the spectrum.
no,
you can see clearly.
No, but I could feel energy.
You have autism, but you don't have glaucoma.
But I could feel energy, so like I get the great energy that you're just a sweetheart at heart.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I mean?
Wouldn't
There
you
you go.
say?
Yeah.
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 There was a hesitation there.
Yeah.
But he, he
I'm not trying to
can,
give my secrets away.
when it comes down to it, he does he does really well. We were just talking outside about the next film that I'm in is called Underwater, and it's with Kristen Stewart, and it comes out next year. We don't have a release date yet, but probably in the first quarter. And that was really fun. That was another disaster movie, which was sort of a return to my Cloverfield roots, because that was the first film I ever did.
Yeah.
I was behind the camera, but that was a movie where I was the comedy, but the genre was not comedy. And so I, this is a film actually 10 years after that sort of shows, now I've done 10 years of acting, that idea of 10,000 hours, 10 years as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
That's a magic number. And, it was really, really good. I think it's a performance where you go, oh, wow, yeah, he has grown and developed as an actor, which, of course, is not true. I'm just funnier and have learned how to remain acting naturally between the jokes. And but that's great. And so we were joking about how in New Orleans, where we filmed it, which was really weird because I was cutting weight, so I wasn't drinking or eating fried food or any of that stuff. So being in New Orleans when you're not drinking or eating their food, it's just like being in a zoo,
right?
And you're the only human. So I remember Kate and I went to a jazz club, and we ordered iced teas, and the bartender thought we were joking. Like, it took a second for him to be like, come on, all right, quit fucking with me. You want Long Island iced teas?
Yeah.
Nope, just iced tea. And so, it was interesting to be in New Orleans. But then Kristen Stewart had a security team, and she ended up firing her bodyguard because Abe was so much better than him. And he kind of took over being the lead of all of the security for the film. So in the morning, he would sort of have these briefings, and everybody would. So that was really, really funny. And then when we went to the Premiere for Office Christmas party, Jennifer Aniston's security detail was sort of turning to him to ask questions and stuff like that. So he kind of he walks into a room and he starts running shit immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's mentoring.
Yes, he's mentoring other. That's right. He's a big brother, little brother sort of situation. And
Come here.
so yeah, we've worked together for
That's cool.
since Chelsea Lately. Because I said to him, I said, "Well, do you ever do any security?" He said, "Yeah," because he's bodyguarded for a lot of people, including twin rappers.
Yeah.
And so I brought him to Chelsea Lately kind of as a joke, and I was like, we're never going to mention why you're here or even acknowledge any of it. And it was so funny, and Chelsea liked him so much that we kept having him come, and he was on the show, and he's been on the Critics' Choice Awards, and so he's kind of become a great friend who also is a very effective bodyguard.
Wow,
and
nice.
that's pretty funny, because people never know. They're like, is this real or is this not real?
Yeah.
And I'm always like, look, you just got to be careful.
Well, because see, Alan Lee's my bodyguard, and he can't take on anyone. He just lets people beat me up.
He looks like he has a razor sharp wit that will leave a man with emotional paper cuts all over.
Oh my God! You heard it right here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's exactly right. So we've had a good time, and he's been there for all of it. And once we started hosting awards shows, and I produced Gorburger and Mashup on Comedy Central, but Gorburger especially, we had a lot of celebrity guests, so he was sort of there doing security for that the entire time. And then he's just, now we live in New York, which is fantastic for me and for Kate. but he and I don't see each other as much. So Oxnard was a good opportunity to.
Well, there was a time when you lived in
together.
L.A. for a while.
Oh
Because
yeah, for 8 years.
Yeah, because I saw you all the time at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, I played the Laugh Factory, the Improv. I played the Comedy Store a little bit, Ha Ha Cafe, obviously, and that was great. But in Los Angeles, you can do 1, maybe 2 sets on a weekday, and then if you push it, you can do 3, maybe 4 sets. I think my record is 5 sets or 6 sets
In
Maybe
LA.
5 in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
And then just in Los Angeles.
In New York, you do like
I
13.
do 3 to 5 sets on a weekday.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 to 5 different shows all over Manhattan, and then on a weekend, which I tour on the weekends. So I tour every weekend. But if I'm in New York on a weekend, I can do, like you said, 10 to 15 sets instead of just. And I'm in at every club there, including the Comedy Cellar. So I really do a lot of stand up, and I am the type of guy, work ethic wise, that I will go and do. A weekend and do those 5 shows and perform for 2,000 plus people. And then when I land, like I did a Scandinavian tour just recently, which was very strange. That was a weird thing to have to slow down the timing and understand that these people's second language is English,
Yeah.
but not slow it down so much that it was either condescending, where it's like,
Right.
so in New York, homeless people without homes will, look at each other. So they'll look into each other's eyes. That doesn't work at all. Then everyone's like, we know English, okay? But if you go too quickly, which some of my comedy, I speak really quickly, saying like time is the closest thing that we have to a deity in a post-religious, post-meaning society. It's the only thing that's omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. And I go into that. That moves too quickly. So I had to adjust. And I'd say by the time we were on the last dates of the tour, I had figured it out. But those first dates in Copenhagen, in Denmark, and even Amsterdam, I was still sort of. Grinding the gears a little bit. Amsterdam was so weird because you go there and you're like, oh, everybody's going to be so drunk. Sure. But actually, the people that live there don't like that aspect of the reputation of the city. Oh. And so they're quite, not reserved like Norway, but they're much more tame.
Yeah.
They're there having a couple of beers. And that's it. No one's on mushrooms or anything like that. They were weird in Amsterdam, though. This guy showed up with whole oranges for me, which is a part of my act, but not one that I talk about.
Right.
Wow.
So he had figured that out.
And
then somebody else, was ready to play the slide trombone. I mean, the act is very strange, and they seem to be excited about it and get that. But I got back from Scandinavia, got off the plane, and went and did 4 sets.
Wow.
So I think most people would say, I'm so jet lagged, and we're just going to take it easy tonight. I kind of got home, rested for a little bit, and then just went straight into it and was doing sets uptown and downtown.
Yeah.
But New York's the type of place, we live right in Greenwich Village. So New York, I will leave, my place, and I think we found out there's 6 clubs within 3 blocks of one another, and that's about 5 blocks from me. So I did 3 sets, and on the way home, there was a comic coming out of the Greenwich Village Comedy Club, and I said, "What is the show still going?" And they're like, "Yeah, I think the last guy's on." So I just went downstairs since I know the owner. I said, "Do you mind if I get on at the end of it?" And in New York, it's very strange because I'm sort of one of the biggest celebrities that does stand-up, which I don't really think of myself as a celebrity, and I know it's hard for me to track the fame aspect of me as a person. But if you think about it, the only people that live there really are like Amy Schumer and I would struggle to name 5 comedians who are television and movie stars
in New York.
In New York City. Everybody lives here.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting because there's so many more clubs. There are like 15 clubs in Manhattan alone that need and want drop-ins. And so I can kind of drop in anywhere, and it's very easy for me to go in and say, hey, can I get on next?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And then I bounce to the next place. So as a stand-up, I'm in the perfect position in New York City, and I've been really lucky. I mean, it's really fortunate that that's the deal for me in New York City. and we're gonna live. We own a house out there, so we're gonna live there for the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I just like it so much more. I also have a tough time. I was never happy in Los Angeles. I just got to a point where I was settled in and had my spots, which I'm sure you guys have the places that you go to and make you happy here.
Yeah.
And so, Kate and I would like to go to. We got engaged at LACMA, and we've got the movie theaters that we love, and we got the local haunts, and we live in Hollywood Heights, actually, and so we, I like that I can walk there and, eat at Musso and Frank's, which I'm probably going to do after this. We're going to get Abe some liver and onions. He really loves that stuff.
Liver and onions? Look forward to it.
He's not quite as adventurous as I am with the culinary aspect. I think he's more into bodyguarding.
Well, Alan really wanted to share this with you because we usually just provide regular water, and Alan said, "Hey, I googled TJ and it said his favorite water was Perrier."
I love that. And my favorite facial spray is Evian. So that's exactly perfect. No, I went on the Scandinavian tour. It's funny that you did this because on the Scandinavian tour, this guy who was our tour manager, Dog, D-A-G, which was so fun because I'd be like, "What's up, Dog?" And so he told me, he was like, "Do you want to get some sparkling water?" I said, "Oh, yeah, for sure." And he said, "I'm really into sparkling water." But he kept saying bubble water. He's like, "I love bubbly water. I'm obsessed with it." So we all the time while we were there were trying different. He goes, "I love this sparkling water. This is my favorite one because it has the most bubbles and it's the most refreshing." So that was very funny because I'm sort of on the straight and narrow, not really drinking or smoking. I got to say, though, coming to Los Angeles, it is so ingrained in me that marijuana is immediately the thing you do when you land.
Oh, yeah.
That I came home and I was going, all right, so I guess... And I wanted to smoke. I smoke cloves, but you have this feeling when I get to our apartment here where I'm so used to having a joint as I land rather than what you would have in New York, which would be a cocktail or something.
Right.
That it was very strange last night. I found myself walking around the apartment kind of looking for something that wasn't marijuana to smoke. And there was nothing like that. So I looked like a drug addict whose drug of choice was cloves, but because I was searching behind stuff and looking in containers and going outside, and I think I went all the way to I was like, did I leave cloves in the toolbox? I was checking the toolbox. I mean, that's like a middle-aged dad who's going through a crisis, and he's promised his wife he's not going to smoke anymore, and it's like, gosh, she's not home. I can't, But instead, Kate's just there going, "Why are you wandering around?"
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So that's kind of a new thing. But yeah, we loved the Scandinavian sparkling water tours. What I'm going to call it next time we go out there.
That's pretty cool.
Bubbly and effervescent, as well as amusing. So, and thank you guys for having me.
I've been trying to get you for years, but I think I've been writing a fake account or someone who's been catfishing me.
I would believe that.
Yeah. I actually told you that on a text message.
Yeah, I have one email that is verybadporn@gmail.com, and I give that out, and people are like, "This isn't real."
Yeah.
And so most people don't email me. But it's a Gmail account that's for, that's how you can email me off of my Facebook and stuff like that. So, but it's nice to do this. I think, a big thing in Los Angeles, we can get into the fact that, this is not my absolute favorite place, is I would really try and keep it to a minimum. And since the beginning of all of this, I just work so much that I'm not a guy who's, I've had publicists off and on, but I'm just not a guy who wants to, I don't know, how do you say that? I'm not gunning to get on the front of a magazine or something because I'm already worried people are like, "All right, enough. I'm sick of you. Every movie that I went to this summer, you're in it." And so I try, I really try. I don't really do. I'm not a guy who's wanting to get on, Carson Daly and the more Seacrest, or that's not something that I need to keep reminding people that I exist. And it's a weird thing where I know one of the guys that does the Stern after show, but at Sirius XM, one guy was like, if you got on the Stern after show, that's kind of the pathway to get on Stern. And I just said, yeah, I mean, that would be cool. And he
Yeah.
just couldn't believe that I wasn't like, really? Okay, so when can I do? And really the only Sirius XM shows I like to do are Ron Bennington, because he talks a lot about art and social criticism and stuff like that. And my wife's
And that's what you're into,
artist.
yeah.
And I'm a social satirist, probably first and foremost, and then as well as an absurdist. And then Nikki Glazer is a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And then my pizza friend in New York is this guy Roland, who has a food court show. So I'll go on there and we'll talk food and stuff. But it's just, I think I do Raw Dog comedy sometimes on Comedy Central Radio. But for the most part, publicity and interviews and things like that, it's just I'm not scrambling to get it. So often what happened with us happens, which is, we're sort of going back and forth over a long period of time, but then we can make it happen.
Right.
And we did. And we're here now with the unknown comic. I won't tell the real one. And Big Abe. And we're just, we are on LA Talk Radio.
Beautiful.
Yeah, raise the
We say-
riffs.
You know what? We say what we want.
You got it.
Exactly. There's no filter.
No filter. Fuck it.
Especially with here, because with my Asperger's, I don't have a filter, so I just
So
say
are you
what's on.
autistic or Asperger's or both?
I have Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what is that? You have trouble reading people's emotions?
Yeah.
So you can't tell that I'm incredibly upset with you right now.
You are?
See? I knew it.
Oh.
That's exactly
No,
what
wait,
happened.
what? No,
You haven't been getting the sense of sort of vitriol and hatred that I've been putting your way?
No. What?
Okay.
Oh.
Did you catch the vibe when I first came in that I was like kind of, I had butterflies in my stomach and I felt immediately like you were a handsome, well-spoken man?
No,
He's not catching any of this, huh?
This is why comedy is hard for me, because I go off energy. Like I could feel energy. Like I get a good energy vibe from you. Like I feel like you're giving positive energy.
When you
towards
see
me.
comedy, you kind of go, you're not. Sometimes it isn't funny to you because you're. Why? Why would you say that?
Well, no.
Why is comedy tough for you? Like you just said.
Oh no, because I read off energy. So when audience's reaction, because my humor is very sophisticated. You know what I mean? So sometimes when I feel good energy, I'll nothing I say will bomb. You know what I mean? And then when I feel bad energy, it's everything I say will bomb. Even the stuff I know is funny.
And when did you find out that you were Asperger's?
When I was 13, March 10th, 1999. I remember that day because that was the day the Lakers traded Eddie Jones to the Charlotte Hornets for Glenn Rice.
He does have Asperger's, doesn't he? That's the autistic aspect, right? Is that you're I remember it was around 4:23 p.m.
It was the worst day of my life.
Yeah, that's right. The sun was about 45 degrees away from hitting sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what drew you guys to radio? I mean, you would think.
Well, I started the podcast because I love comedy and I do comedy, and then it's hard. I mean, you probably don't understand because you have credits and all that stuff, but I don't have any credits. I just do comedy,
Yeah.
so it's hard for me to get a lot of spots, and because
Pretty good.
yeah, but it's still hard. You know what I mean?
Of course, and in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I did a podcast in Los Angeles, or not the first time I did a booked show open mic type thing. I went, and it was this place called Tiger Lily, and I went in and I said, I waited, and I was kind of doing the thing that all comics do, where you're kind of at the bar alone, waiting for an in to talk to the host or something. And I said, hey, I'm TJ Miller. I just moved here from Chicago, and I was wondering if I could do a spot. And he was like, uh-huh. And I went, by the way, not great energy.
Right.
I can immediately tell, not great energy.
Aloha.
Don't need to have Asperger's to have felt the negative energy there. And I kind of stumbled into saying, I'm on this television show, Carpoolers, and I just did this movie, Cloverfield. So I thought, well, hey, I'm on TV as we speak.
Right.
And I'm in this J.J. Abrams film. And he suddenly went, oh, really? You're on television? And I go, yeah. And he's like, and you've done a movie?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. He said, oh, really? So did that guy right over there. And that girl's, she's on television. And he just pointed at everyone in the room being like, well, they've done Conan. And so he's like, everybody in here's been on fucking television, man.
Yeah.
Just submit a link and we'll see if we have room for you in a few months. And that's the vibe in Los Angeles. So that's another problem is that even with credits, you would. I'm in a much better position now, just because I've been doing stuff in Hollywood for 10 years. It turns out. And that was 2018. Was that?
So you felt
year.
the struggle too.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, okay.
But I think I watch other people. Yeah, I struggled a lot in Los Angeles to get in, in the stand-up scene. And the reason that I became a Laugh Factory regular and that kind of stuff was solely because my credits continue to increase.
Right.
So it's not really as much about your ability as a stand-up comedian, because people are so celebrity-focused and obsessed here in Los Angeles. The audiences care more about that than if you're this incredibly great stand-up comedian. And it took a while for me to even get spots at the Improv, and I still was doing open mics and things like that. And now I'm still a guy who would go and do an open mic, but that's not really a comfortable place for me anymore, because I come in and the room changes dramatically because everybody's like, that's the guy from the movies.
Right.
And so that's really happens more in New York, because in New York they're much more adept understanding that some guy's going to drop in on an open mic like Jim Gaffigan,
Right.
because he's doing 9 spots that night.
Yeah.
So if this is the spot that he can do at 6:30 p.m., then that's the spot he's going to do. So I play the main club in Greenwich Village that I play is the Village Lantern, which has 3 shows a night, 7 nights a week. And that's a booked showcase that they bark people in from outside. And I'm easily the most prominent comedian to be working there, but I love it because it's close to my house, and I can start out the 8 o'clock, go do 2 or 3 sets, come back, close the 10 o'clock show, then maybe do a show at on the beginning of their midnight show, and then pop over to the Grizzly Pear, which is also like the level of Village Lantern, and then I'll go watch a show at the Cellar. They have 3 clubs: the Village Underground, the Black Pussycat, and the Original Comedy Cellar. And I'll go and watch a show, or sometimes do a spot, or whatever it is. But the Comedy Cellar is a place where
the best of the best.
Yeah, it's almost more fun for me. The actual Comedy Cellar is not that great of a club to perform in. It's really hard. It's the one place that everybody's not from there and is going to try and see. They're like, where's Louis C.K.? When's Jim Norton going up? Is Gaffigan going to drop in? Who's famous in here? Do you think tonight's the night that Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle is going to show up? And so they're not an easy audience and not a great one. The Comedy Cellar Village Underground, which is sold out all the time also, seats about 220, and that's more of a club. Yeah. And that's a great place to play. But so the Cellar itself, I find much more interesting to just go there and watch, because to see Dave Attell on the same show as Godfrey, or there's this comic Sherrod Small that's amazing and has been there forever. Those guys, every single set you see is mind-blowing. It's just incredible. I mean, Sherrod Small is a host a lot, and he just does this thing where he's relentless in his positivity and like his comedy and being funny. And so the audience, if they don't laugh at a joke, he's able to just get them to laugh at the fact that they didn't laugh. And, he's just a consummate comic who's like, I'm from Brooklyn. Anybody from Brooklyn? And then he's a Don Rickles type where he's like, we got some Orthodox Jews. You guys must be from Brooklyn. How you doing? Thank you for coming out this one time this year. This is very exciting. I won't offend you, I promise, because we got plenty of black people in here, so I'm going to focus on that. And, he's always making fun of people for being too white. And it's just, it's very New York. He just, there's nothing he hasn't seen, and he performs every single night. And then the guy who runs the Greenwich Village Comedy Club, this guy Dustin Chafin, who's sort of a liberal from Texas who wears a cowboy hat. He does 2 sets a night, and it's amazing to watch him in front of a crowd. That the second he mentions Trump, a lot of them are from out of town, because that happens in the clubs a lot.
Right.
And they, you can feel them clenching up. And he's just able to like barrel through it and get them laughing. And his shit is like, New York, you can fucking be seriously edgy,
Right, yeah.
And I think you can kind of do that in Los Angeles, or you can't.
It depends on certain clubs.
Yeah, I think it's the club, it's the audience. Yeah. In New York, his political jokes like, so I lost my parents this year, both my parents I lost this year, and the whole audience is like, Where's this going? And he's like, yeah, they voted for Trump. So, and then he's just like, barrels in through that stuff.
But that's a great joke because you expect them to say like death.
Oh,
or
they
something.
died, yeah. And so everybody freaks out and they laugh because the tension from death is, a little bit more tense than even the president. And so he kind of, and he's very quick to say like, hey, get ready to make fun of yourselves. And it's just, the comics in New York are so good. And the very interesting thing that I found out and have been understanding more is that if you want to be a stand-up comic, a great stand-up comic, you're in New York. So there's a lot of these guys that do not want to. Their aim would be to be a stand-up comic in New York City performing every night. That would be the top of the top. So instead in Los Angeles, like, what if I got my own series, right? A sitcom, or I actually started getting parts in movies or something. That's the aim here in Los Angeles.
See, that's not my aim at all.
But probably because you're a good comedian and you care about the comedy of it, and
that's why I like you, because I feel you don't care about the money in comedy. You just want to make people laugh. Because I've heard stories that you've done shows for 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I did a show in Chicago for 2 people. And there were 2 of us. And then one time we did one for once. There were more people on stage than the audience. But I go that night that my parents were in town a while ago, and I took them to see 3 sets, and we went to the comic strip early, which is becoming my home club kind of. And I did a show there, and it was like 8 people, and it was really hard, and it did not go great. And then we went to stand up New York, and that was like, 14 people. And that was really hard. And then we showed up at the West Side Comedy Club, and I'm thinking, geez, it's a Monday or whatever. This is going to be another bad show. And then that's what my parents will have seen because they bounced around from set to set with me.
Right.
And we got there, and it was totally sold out. And I just destroyed, and it was so fun. And that was the perfect representation of what I'm doing in New York for my parents, to see me there going, he is really hustling still to this day. And he's putting in the work in front of 8 people that he's putting in front of 80 people
exactly
in front, and that he's putting in front of 18 people. I always do multiples of 8. That's Kate's favorite number, and so that was really, really good for them to see that. And it reminds, I think, people and audiences even that is why that's one of the main reasons I walked away from Silicon Valley. Because talk about leaving behind a lot of money,
right?
If I stayed on Silicon Valley to season 7 or whatever they're going to go to, then I could buy a boat and have a house in, not that I would want this, but like have a house in Bel Air or, some sort of one of those Los Feliz mansions and 3 cars and a 4-car garage and a couple of motorcycles. And I just don't give a fuck about that. I mean, Abe would love that, I think. But I swear to God, if I had gotten to that point, I probably would have bought Abe an Escalade and then just, been working with him. That's more important to me. Our cars are here, my wife's grandmother's car, we inherited a candy apple red Cadillac STS from like 2006 or something.
Wow.
And then I have a 1992, wait for it, 1992 Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 twin turbo that I have there's only one other one in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I see it everywhere. It's turquoise and it's not a twin turbo.
It's not a twin turbo.
But you can feel that when we're on the same road that dude is like, there's the other one. You know what I mean? You don't see them on the road. And they look like they're from the future still. They look like from Back to the Future or something. Yeah. And I garage that car here, and my father, who's a car guy, he is so quick to, and Abe knows my father. I mean, that's his main focus, his cars. And he will just make fun of me. He was going to get rid of that car. And I said, well, that was the first sports car I ever drove. That was the first car that I ever went with you to the dealership to buy. So there's a lot of nostalgia for that car. Kate and I have had some pretty amazing times in that car. So can I buy it from you? And he was like, it's worth $2,000. And if it breaks down once, you're going to have to pay more than $2,000 to fix it. He said, it doesn't matter. To me, it's a classic car. And so I garage it, and he always makes fun of me. He's like, each year you're paying more than the car is worth to garage it. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want a fucking Jaguar. Like, where we
sentimental
live, which
value
is
to
in
you.
where we live, which is in a weird, you know the secret staircases in Hollywood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We sort of live in a place that is a pedestrians only neighborhood, sort of, and but the row of garages where we live, and we garage the Cadillac, it's like Jaguar, SUV, Mercedes, Audi. You know, it's that type of thing.
That was me. That's the 5-minute light.
No, I think that always goes off whenever I say Audi.
Sorry.
He's got that Asperger's thing where he's like, I want to make sure that Audi has an alarm. But it's, you know, that just doesn't matter to me. And so leaving Silicon Valley was kind of more, and people now are really nice online. They say, oh, we miss you in Silicon Valley. We wish you would come back. And that's nice. Every once in a while I hear that. But I had done that character for 5 years. I didn't think that the show was becoming any less cyclical. I thought that it would be positive for the series for me to take off. And I just couldn't justify spending 6 months a year here, not able to do more than 5 or 6 shows a week, and only being able to tour for a month on a bus, that whole deal, which is so awesome. But just living here 6 months out of the year, or 5 months, but there's no reason for Kate to come out here because the art scene here is really kind of, it's really shitty. It's kind of dog shit especially compared to New York.
Right.
So she's going to festivals in Avignon, France, and they know her in Cape Town, and also we went to Art Basel, and she's really well known in the expat art community in Tangier. In Morocco, and all of that comes from New York.
Yeah.
Coming to Los Angeles, you kind of, you know, it's Mr. Brainwash level shit. And so I didn't want to be on a TV show that I felt like I'd done, and I really was starting to go on autopilot. And then there was this, you know, this aspect of it where I would need to do reshoots for something, like Deadpool or something, and so then they have to move around production, and then the movie studio would keep moving it around, kind of not giving a shit, being like, yeah, okay, you're on a television show, but we're making a movie, okay? Yeah. And there was that, and then I was doing sets at night, so I was showing up exhausted all the time in the morning because I had pushed it and did a 14-hour day and then done 2 sets that night, and that would be, you know, something that just, it became much more work than it was a pleasure to go to. And I had to turn down movie after movie in the sense that they would say, you know, we're interested in you for this role. Are you available in any time except for the summer? And
right.
Like, no.
Yeah.
I'd say, okay, well, we're going to move on and figure out a way to make this movie because we have to shoot it in October or whatever. This is going to go in April, May, and June. And I'd be like, well, I'm available in June if you want to switch the whole movie thing around. And that's not how it works. So it was that too. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be in television, I should be producing it like Gorberger, where if I do need to do something, I can have somebody else and say, you know, I work with this guy, Miller Davis, a lot, who is, we're cousins, and I trust him immensely in his sensibility and all of it. And so I'm able to kind of say, okay, I need to be gone for a week to do this thing.
Right.
Or I'm touring this weekend, so I'm not going to be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so can you handle the Thursday, Friday aspect of it? And so that's kind of where I am now. Is if I would do television if I could be an executive producer on it. But outside of that, I feel really good about the television work I've done. And I like films because you're the character, you do it, it's done, it's not going to get canceled or something like that.
Right.
And sure, you know, I'm in a couple of franchises, so maybe I'll play Fred from Big Hero 6 in Big Hero 7. But that's, you know, those come years in between each other, so it's really refreshing to return to a character. And, you know, you're doing a month or two on it, not 5 months every year, all that. So it's really fortunate. I mean, it's not like I'm like, Silicon Valley, whatever. I mean, I owe them a lot. I owe Clay Tarver and Mike Judge, you know, a lot just in terms of how good of a comedian I am. Because that was like it was like getting a PhD in comedy with Mike Judge as the professor and Clay Tarver as the writing and directing instructor. I mean, that was pretty incredible. And then, you know, it wasn't, I think this happens on a lot of television shows. If you got great chemistry and the show works and it crushes and really pops, then how many more words can I use where I feel like a douchebag? It crushes, it pops, it really plays, it's got a real pizzang to it. If you're able to be on something like that, usually the chemistry between the cast is really nice. But when the fame and the success and the grind of the publicity and the years after years within these characters and relationships happens, it's really hard after 4 seasons for there not to
keep it up.
Yeah, and for there not to be, just like if you're at work and you start to be like, God damn, this person that I used to love to see in the morning,
you don't like
cubicles
enjoy
down
it.
from
Right.
when I was at a law firm, after 2 years, people that I liked in the beginning, I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be. And they were like that with me. They're like, great, TJ's coming in again, singing and acting like a ding dong in the morning.
It's kind of like a
Abe
basketball
does.
team.
I do that.
He's a morning person.
Yeah.
It is like a basketball team. That's
Yeah.
right. And, in a basketball team is a great analogy because then certain players start to get more notoriety, or a player that was killing and doing great, then a different player gets a deal for a headphone endorsement, and then it changes the social dynamic and their status anxiety and all that kind of stuff. So things just lined up to be able to, and I can already feel, I've toured, in March it'll be 50 weeks in 1 year.
Wow.
And which is,
Fantastic.
that's something that Norm Macdonald does. I mean, that's
I love
the kind
Norm.
of level.
Yeah.
That's a level of stand-up and work that he's doing, and I can already feel that I'm just a completely different comedian. When people say that when they see me, they're just like, "Oh my God, it's become a different thing," and that can't happen if you're not touring and headlining every weekend all over the United States and now all over the world.
Yeah.
And so it's been the best thing, and I like it so much to be able to go set up shop in Dayton, Ohio or something, and I decide what I'm talking about that night. I change it. Each audience is different. There's no filter between me and the audience. It's fun.
Well, TJ, I hate to be rude, but we're actually
not rude.
Yeah, but we're out of
I've
time
been
and the
talking it
directors. But I wanted to plug your Levity shows one more time. This weekend at Levity Live at Oxnard. Tickets at www.levity.oxnard.com.
Yes.
See?
www.levity.fakename.of-a-city.oxballs.nardo.
But I want everyone to come see you because you're a brilliant comic and you're one of my heroes. And thank you so much for doing
You're one of
the
my
show.
heroes. And was there
Thank
any
you.
question that we didn't get to?
Yeah, there's but Sam's like saying because they have a
I can
1
do it so
o'clock
quickly.
show.
Do you even have one?
I have
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
one question I had was, did you ever meet Dan Aykroyd?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what a guy. What a weird, strange man who has a Crystal Skull vodka.
He has
Believes
Asperger's.
in magic. Does he have Asperger's?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he is, I like you, he's got a great energy and he's a real weirdo.
Yeah.
So but
Yes.
it was fun. Yogi Bear 3D is the best work that I've ever done in my life. And then what was your
experience in circus?
circus arts.
Yeah, circus arts. I always felt that circus arts was like a really athletic deal. That all the.
As you can tell from my body type, I'm not very good at it.
I'm just saying, it was like that a clown was like
I think that's really true. I mean, especially doing pratfalls and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm a juggler,
Yeah.
and I have
Look.
circus elements in my
Sure.
stand-up right now.
Sure.
And juggling is incredibly athletic. It takes great
please.
mental acuity. But I can unicycle and stilt walk and all that
Sure.
stuff. And I think that the circus right now really balances out the philosophy. And I think the big thing that I'm doing right now in stand-up is that there's sort of some philosophical, really substantial elements to the act, and that's balanced by circus. So I'll talk about morality being relative and the subjectivity to moral values throughout history, which is very Nietzschean. And then right when it's about to become a slightly amusing TED Talk, boom, I'm juggling. Suddenly there's a slide trombone for no reason. I mean, there's clown all of a sudden. I dropped the mic cord out. Now I'm talking silently. It's mime.
TJ, I love you very much. but
That's
we got
what
Thank you,
that's
man.
what I wanted to hear.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. I hope you guys will have me back. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is very fun.
I would love to have you
Anytime.
back. Follow TJ at @NotTJMiller on Twitter.
Believe it.
And Facebook, and see him this weekend.
That's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Instagram is Teenage Millionaire because that's what I dress like.
Yeah,
Oh.
man. Thanks, TJ.
Like that.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on Talk Radio.